Hello, I'm Jeff Carter with Seattle City Club, and today, as part of our Civic boot camp on housing instability, I'll be talking with Qiana Tyeskey, Helen Gaines, and Linda Taylor with the Urban League of Metropolitan Seattle about what they do in the community for housing and homelessness. So thank you, Helen, Qiana, and Linda, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
And just wondering, so people know, what is the Urban League of Metropolitan Seattle? Just a brief definition.
The League of Metropolitan Seattle is a 90-year-old agency. In fact, we just turned 90. We're part of a national organization, with about 90 affiliates throughout the country. We have about 4 pillars. We do housing, employment, education, and advocacy. And we do it all throughout the country. The same thing, we just all do it differently.
So what does the Urban League do regarding housing and homelessness here in Seattle?
So what we do as far as homelessness, we have different departments within homelessness. We have a safe parking program. We also have a hotel program that we just started not too long ago. We do streets to home. We have outreach and engagement, and it's throughout Seattle and South King County as well. We have, as far as homelessness prevention, we have home base, which is normally in the courts, but now we've been working on rental assistance through United Way.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are the programs that we are doing as far as homelessness.
Regarding homelessness, with the people that you're working with, what are the fundamental causes of them living on the streets or experiencing homelessness, and what are their primary needs that you're finding nowadays?
Well, a lot of the people, they're in need of jobs. The reason why they're homeless is because it's so expensive. They have barriers that prevent them from being in homes, as far as eviction debt, just not enough money. They can't, when they do apply, they don't qualify. A lot of reasons in that area.
Mm-hmm. And have things changed due to the pandemic? Have you seen a trend, maybe a worsening trend because of the pandemic?
As far as the worsening, I believe it's just difficult to deal with things right now because everything's closed down. It's hard to really get involved with people because of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be really precautious of how we deal with people. So it's been difficult, but we've been working through it.
I think what we are doing, though, however, at the Urban League is we are preparing. We're preparing for the rush of the eviction. We're preparing for the day the eviction moratorium could possibly be over and there are more homeless people, where people are made to be more homeless. So we're preparing for that. We're doing a lot of work in the rental area. We're partnering with United Way and the county to do some of that work.
Can you talk more about that? Like what kind of rental assistance or financial management?
Right.
Or
rental assistance? We're actually going to be paying rent. We've had a couple of rounds of that already. Ms. Qiana, can you tell me how much we have spent on rental assistance to date?
To date, we've spent all together since the pandemic started approximately $5 million.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So we have been helping people with their rents, but we know that there is more to come.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we also, with our last round, we've helped 1,306 households, not including people, just the households. And we were helping big apartment buildings. We're helping individual families that didn't live in big complexes.
Mm-hmm.
And
The
that's our partnership through United Way.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't come straight to us. They went through a United Way portal, and
Okay.
we assisted it in that method.
Where does the Urban League fall in terms of all the other housing and homelessness outreach efforts in the city and county? What's your kind of unique niche?
We have wraparound services.
Mm-hmm.
We have housing, employment, and education.
Mm.
And we advocate for some of the laws that are on the books, and we do a lot of advocacy and keep people informed of the different bills and different things that are going on in Olympia. But the
Mm-hmm.
fact that we're able to put you in a hotel, Helen and her crew are able to feed you while you're there,
Mm.
and we're able to clothe you, and we're able to get people a job. Our job developers go right there, right to where you are, and assist people in getting jobs. We've put, I had some numbers. What was it? 44 people in the hotel in this last round.
Mm.
And over half of them have gotten jobs and gotten some type of permanent housing.
and we
One
also do license, I mean, not licenses, but IDs.
ID, yeah, that's just what I was going to say. I was
Mm-hmm.
going to say one of the things that was most shocked about was people in their identification.
Mm.
And Qiana and Helen have been able to, they have a partnership with DOL, and they're getting people their identification back. And that is so important.
For getting
That is
jobs and getting healthcare and all kinds of things, right?
healthcare, jobs, all kinds of things. And
Mm-hmm.
while they're at the hotel, that team is assisting them with some of those things. Healthcare, like I say, healthcare, jobs, housing. We really a one-stop shop.
Mm-hmm. How do you work in terms of the equity angle? I know with as you obviously know with COVID and the pandemic and how it's affected people of color and disproportionately, and with George Floyd and the police reform and police brutality, all those issues have come up, and it's from what I've heard, it's similar in terms of housing and homelessness. So I don't know if there's any way you address that, or if it's such a big structural issue that it's kind of beyond
It
your
is
scope.
a large structural issue, and our doors are open to all.
Mm-hmm.
So we do go in and advocate and fight for people, because oftentimes people do not know their rights.
Mm.
That is more, we're finding that more so when we were doing the rental. A lot of people have landlords that aren't abiding by the eviction moratorium for various reasons. And some of those reasons possibly are they don't know what their rights are. They don't know that they could possibly get a loan modification and or a forbearance.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a department within the housing department that helps with that also.
Mm-hmm.
For the landlords. So landlords are in a pretty tight spot, but renters are in a tighter spot. And they get scared actually and move. And now they become homeless.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you talk about your Safe Lots program, what that is and how that works?
Well, that's Qiana's baby. Go ahead, Qiana.
So our safe parking program, basically we partner with churches, and what they do is they allow the people to stay in their parking lot. They have their space in the parking lot. The one that is more accommodating is our Redeemers, because they have a shower, a bathroom, a microwave. Then they have a hall that they can go into. Well, during the pandemic, they closed it down for a while, but they're opening it. It's reopening. So it's a good program to where they can, if they're sleeping in their car, they can sleep in their car, but it gives them somewhere to use the restroom and gives them somewhere to get their headspace right so they can go into permanent housing. And basically what we do is, it's not a place that we want them to stay forever. So it's called road to housing and not road to parking. So basically we're just case managing them like we do with the people in the hotel. We fix their cars, like minor things on their cars if they need to go to work. We help them get jobs, and we in permanent housing. And permanent housing is the goal.
What are the specific issues that people, or unique issues that people living in their vehicles face that others may not? Or maybe there's a lot of common issues.
Well, there's common issues, but there's a lot of tickets that they get. People harass them if they're parked in the wrong spots. They have to search for places to use the restroom. It's just, it makes it difficult. So a lot of the times when they tell their story, they feel, even though it might not sound like it might not sound as well as you think it it might not sound that well, but for them, it's something that, it's like sleeping in your car, not being able to use the restroom is a big deal. You have to search and you can't go to the bathroom, but this is a place where you can sleep in your car, you can go inside, take a shower, wash your clothes, and then get your head together and do your case management to where you can get your head together to get permanent housing.
What I hear from some people is that, oh, I want to help, but I don't like to see people like living on my street or in my park. But I want to help people experiencing homelessness. So what can I do?
You can refer those people to the Urban League. We don't do RVs.
Okay.
We don't do, because generally an RV is a home.
Okay.
And so that's why we have what's called safe parking, where they're not on their street, they're in a parking lot receiving services. So we have them strategically located. One is north, one is kind of U District, and we have one in West Seattle. And we're always looking for churches that want to do this. And there are a few improvements that we can make to your church. Maybe not improvements, but additions and additional safety precautions that we can do to a church. So if anyone knows of a church that wants to get involved, we're here and we're open for taking on additional churches.
Do you get pushback from community members, like around the churches, who don't like to see cars parked in their
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
We do pre-pandemic, we did community meetings with lots of good food, and just have the community talk about it. Ask us questions and ask us different things, and we bring. They actually brought a prior participant, which was really good, to talk about it and how grateful this family was, and they're on their feet and they're doing well. A lot of people that live in their cars have jobs.
Yeah,
it's over a year or so since they've been in our safe lot, and they're still on their feet and doing really well.
So you have a good kind of track record. I was going to ask, what are you most proud of in terms of both your housing and homelessness programs?
Our goal, which is permanent housing and making sure they're stable, empowerment to the people, making them feel sustained, and just basically that's it for me. Not it for me, but
I'm really proud of the way that the staff has Helen and her crew, and under Qiana, have turned around the people that live in the safe parking. The people that want to be there and that want to move forward have gotten what they're looking for, have gotten into permanent housing. I believe the longest stay of someone that was attempting to move forward has been, 3 months, maybe?
Yeah, it usually doesn't even last that long, but
Mm.
it just depends on their barriers.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're willing to go forward, some people, they go into the safe lot and they're just not ready. They don't want to go forward. They just want to stay where they are. But for the most part, the average is probably a month.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Okay.
So what are the keys to your success? How are you able to do that when it seems like other efforts seem to fail or not fail, but aren't as successful? What are the keys to your success?
Basically, just like she said, the wraparound services that we have and our case management, that our case managers are working really hard. We have people that come in and they get right on it. They assess them and figure out what needs to be done, what their barriers are, and that's how we move them forward.
I think another key to the success is we do have people working there that have walked in the shoes of the participants.
Mm-hmm.
So they know what it's like. They know we had for instance, we had food service, and the food service was terrible. I was told this food is worse than prison food from our food service people. And that's because they had walked in those shoes. And so we cut that food service off immediately and got another one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So how, kind of looking at you and your staff, how do you take care of yourselves during this pandemic time and doing this outreach? It's got to be tough
Yes, it is.
to work with folks. What is your, they call it self-care, but what do you do to kind of keep yourselves going?
Oh, I don't think we have a method to that. I think we do wind down a bit, but we don't wind down 100% because the phone never quits ringing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I think we might be. We might be facing a little staff fatigue.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you find that the phone is ringing more now than it has in the past?
Actually, no.
Hmm.
I find the problems are different,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't find they're ringing more. Do you, Qiana?
No, I don't find them ringing more. I just find that the way that we have to handle it is different.
Right.
It's just that we always had a lot of people ringing our door, but it was easier to deal with because we didn't have to take so many precautions.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We could do group counselings at one point,
Oh, okay.
which we don't do now. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We could engage the community in groups, which we can't do now. And no churches are open. So it's very hard to get to the right person.
And sometimes we have like a technology problem. People don't have the technology because, now we're using Zoom to have meetings and stuff like that. And so it's a little difficult for our participants because some of them don't have the technology or can't afford phones or computers or emails or don't even have those. So
and the libraries are not open. Don't forget that one.
Yeah.
So a lot of services that people would have used in the past, they just don't have access to.
Correct.
What can you say to people to, I guess, give them hope that change is possible, that things, can be improved?
Well, what we do is just stay encouraged ourselves. We continue to do the work that we need to do. We try to stay as safe as possible. If we're encouraged, they'll be encouraged, and we just continue the work. We can't stop it. It's not going to stop. It's going to continue, so we have to.
And how do you keep yourselves hopeful?
One client at a time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When one family is successful, we're all happy. We've all succeeded. We can only do it one family at a time.
And so how can people looking to get involved support your efforts specifically? What can they do? What advice, what suggestions would you have?
You can refer homeless people
Mm-hmm.
to us. You can speak to a homeless person on the street. You can give them a hello to encourage them, makes them feel good. And we have a lot of outreach events. So you can go to our website at www.urbanleague.org and sign up to be a volunteer. We have some one-off volunteer opportunities where we're doing pop-ups for homeless.
Mm-hmm.
And our volunteer manager, Miss Ashley, will be happy to take you in because we don't have staff to do that. So we rely on volunteers. The Urban League was built on volunteers.